This is a story of a car that has a great history to it and a lot of sentimental meaning. Ultimately, I thought that this car would fit very well into the collection. 1936 Bugatti Type 57 Stelvio. Chassis 57406. And according to Bugatti historian Kees Janssen, our Type 57 was built in April of 1936. The car was examined by Bugatti Heritage and Certification Specialist Luigi Galli. The car retains its original engine. The dash carries the original gauges and the Jaeger tach, which is very useful for spirited driving, which is what we plan on doing. It was bodied and remains a 4-passenger Stelvio. It was designed by Jean Bugatti, who designed this cabriolet with the distinctive pontoon fenders, the Atlantique-style tail. There are a lot of key elements in the design of this car that really catch your eye. And what you see in the Stelvio is that big C swoosh on the side of the car, which carried over into the newer cars like the Chiron. The Stelvio's design evolved during the Type 57 production, and in 1935 and 36 the Stelvio sported the fold-down front windshield, which I love. A lot of French cars had this, and it makes a great feature. When that's laid forward, the air comes into your face. It also gives the car a very aerodynamic look, as well as the way the Stelvio had the notch in the rear quarters for the top to sit down into, which adds to its sleek look. It's almost like having a disappearing top. These cabriolets, even though they're 4-seaters, had that roadster style look to them, very sleek. The Bugattis were artisans, and this car is just such a great example of that. Bugatti agreed to send chassis 57406 to the Not Fair, an international trade exhibit for everything from farm equipment to sports cars, which still exists today. On August 8, 1936, the car was sold to its original owner, R. Petit. Subsequently, the car made its way to the ownership of Mr. Ferrand. By that time, the car had been upgraded with the later style integrated headlights into the front fenders, as well as the spats over the rear wheels. Period photographs from the early 40s show the car was already fitted with these features, which in their design and construction seem to be very professional and true to the 37 and 39 Bugatti Stelvios. In addition, the car was fitted with the front mustache bumpers, as well as the upgrade of the Lockheed hydraulic brakes, which were a common upgrade over the earlier cable brakes. All this indicates that the car's modifications were either done by the factory or a Bugatti agent. The Bugatti was then sold by Ferrand to Jacques de Filo, a well-known actor in the Latin Quarter of Paris. De Filo would be the last French owner who would sell the car in 1974 to Alec Ullman. In the world of East Coast automotive collecting, especially in Florida, few people stood as tall as the late Alexander E. Ullman. His name is synonymous with Sebring, the first American automotive endurance race, which he established in December of 1950, as well as early efforts to establish the U.S. Grand Prix. Ullman drove the car mostly without the rear spats. It was light blue and black with a white top. And when we looked at restoring the car, you try to figure out which version of the car, because we found numerous paint jobs on it in different parts of the car and different interior colors. The factory has no record of what the car was originally, but when you look at the pictures throughout history, it has changed colors many times. The American Bugatti Registry also noted the ownership of Ullman continued until his passing in 1986. The Bugatti was then sold in 1988 to Ken Behring's Blackhawk car collection, which was run by the late Don Williams. Don had the Bugatti restored in a black and royal blue livery. The interior was fitted with the pale leather interior, and they reinstalled the spats that came with the car on the rear wheels. When I walked in the museum and saw the car there, it just really caught my eye. And as I was talking to Brian Murphy, who runs the Blackhawk car collection since Don's passing, I asked the family, would you be okay if I bid on it when it comes up for auction? I sort of fell in love with it when I saw it. Selling all of Don's cars was emotional. Don was a mentor in a lot of ways. I attribute Don to helping me in my restoration business that I ran. I restored a lot of cars for Don Williams, and we took a lot of cars to Pebble Beach together. He really was Tom Barrett's protege, so I knew Don for a long time. Hispanos, Delahaye's, Delages, some of the greatest cars, but Bugatti, that's the pinnacle. I already saw the car the way I wanted to make it, making it match the Chiron with that distinctive C swept on the side of it in silver to match the Chiron. I never really planned on doing a complete restoration of the car. The reason I bought it, one, I loved the look of it, two, it was Don Williams' car, but a lot of my friends have Type 57 Bugattis, vintage Bugattis, and I wanted a rally car. So we started driving the car around, and it had a lot of oil leaks, a couple water leaks. Car had been sitting for a long time. One thing led to another, and before you know it, it's down to a bare frame. We went through the engine, the transmission, the rear end, completely tore the car apart, resealed everything. Then we had to pick the colors. And that's what led us to painting it the black and the silver to match the Veyron and the Chiron. So you have the old and the new cars looking the same. When it came to the interior, I decided, since there's so many models made of this car, we decided let's just change the blue and let's leave the gray interior as a nod to Don, but it also still matches all of the models. We've been testing the car. We've been driving the car without the front fenders on it. We've put several hundred miles on the car. And every time we come back, we find a little oil leak. So we've been fixing everything. The whole goal, make the car dependable. One of the things I really look forward to is driving the car on the rally for Pebble Beach, which you leave and you drive through 17-mile drive, then up Highway 1, and then bringing the car Sunday morning onto the lawn, which is called Dawn Patrol. Don Williams started this tradition, being the first one out there watching the cars when it's still black outside, coming onto the lawn, and we will do that in Don Williams' name and honor. Stay tuned. Thank you.